Joining me outside the LSU locker room, Gordy Rush, JaCoby Hester. Dominant performance by LSU. And JaCoby, I'll ask you, in my opinion, and I know we're all a product of the moment, I think this is the most dominant performance by an LSU team in Tiger Stadium in the history of the school. What is your thought?
Look, they came out with a purpose. I mean, they came out and they played mad. They played aggressive, and they wanted to prove a point. Offense, defense, special teams. I mean, Cade York was making 50-plus yards. The defense was shutting them out. The offense went down the field first possession and left no doubt what this offense was going to do all night long.
Gordy, you're an LSU football historian. I mean, LSU's had, bigger wins in the Rice game, 77-0 back in the day. But as far as a winning team, a bowl-eligible team, what is this one? How does this one stack up?
So a historian means you're old, right?
Exactly.
That's basically what you're saying. My first thought was, I think, JaCoby, you were on the 07 team that beat Virginia Tech 45-7. I think this one was one up, but it was close. It was such a dominant performance, and like JaCoby said, you have to love this spot. Coming after the Arkansas scrimmage is what it really was, and A&M had to play at Georgia to come back and play an angry LSU team. It's a great spot for LSU.
Coach O won't say this publicly, but it has to be extra special to beat Jimbo Fisher, a guy that most LSU fans wanted for a couple of years, to beat a team last year that not only beat you on the field, but what happened after the field. This one means a little more.
It does. Look, it's human nature to know the storylines between Texas A&M and LSU. I mean, it's more than just that. I mean, there's obviously ADs, there's coaches, there's last year and what happened during the game and the overtimes and after the game. I mean, this was a rivalry when Gordy was playing. I mean, they played every single year to open up the season. So these schools have history, and so it makes all those things combined make this one extra special. And to go out there and dominate like that, like you literally left no doubt who the better football team was.
Did LSU do enough, make a case tonight based on this domination to leapfrog Ohio State in the playoff rankings?
I don't know. I don't know. Ohio State had an impressive win over Michigan. I think what this did solidified, in my opinion, LSU win or lose next week, and we don't want to talk about losing the SEC championship. I think with the Alabama loss and as dominant as performance is, how can you not have them in the playoff after a 12-0 regular season? This was such a statement game for LSU.
Joe Burrow sets a number of records, of course, breaks the SEC single-season passing record, ties the touchdown record, just puts the stamp, if need be, on the Heisman?
I think so. I mean, what he went out here today and did was he stayed on schedule. That's what we talked about on LSU Game Day Live. He didn't have to reinvent the wheel, just stay on schedule what they've done. There's been no letdown game, Ronnie, for this offense. They just continue to do what they do. I mean, Tim Couch in the air raid, when he was passing for all those yards with Hal Mumme, did we ever think an LSU quarterback would break that record? And he's going to just shatter it. I mean, you still got multiple games left for LSU. What he's done for this program, I mean, obviously it's been Clyde Edwards-Helaire, it's been Jamar Chase, it's been everybody together making this offense do what it does.
Talk about Jamar Chase. I mean, I know JaCoby was telling me before we were on the air, Gordy, they thinks he punched his ticket to the Biletnikoff Award tonight. I mean, almost 200 yards again. He's already had a couple of those.
No, absolutely. Chase was fantastic in so many different situations. And when you get him out wide on the edge and people want to man cover him, you can't do that. He's so athletic, one, and he's so physical. He's able to get separation. He's had a fantastic season, no doubt.
Of all the senior days, this one will be remembered forever, right? I mean, this was special. Not only did Joe Burrow have a great game and all that, but when he pulled off, when he came out in the Burrow EAUX jersey, that was one of the coolest moments I've ever seen.
I agree with you, and it was his idea. It was something he wanted to do to show his love for the way Louisiana welcomed him and his 2 years here. It's an outstanding way to honor Louisiana. Obviously, we know EAUX means a lot here, not only in Baton Rouge, but in the state of Louisiana. And the ovation he got was one of the louder times I've ever heard. It was the loudest senior day that I've ever heard, but he just wanted to show his appreciation. Not a lot of people knew, only about 7 or 8 people knew it was going to happen. So it's something he wanted to do for the fans.
Finally, Gordy, you mentioned it. LSU may not have to win next week to punch their ticket to the playoff. Obviously, you want to finish off the business, but do they handle anything differently because of this win today?
No, not at all. I mean, you got a Georgia team who, is now without their 2 top receivers. Cager's out injury-wise, and then the other top receiver got in a fight, and he's going to miss the first half of this game. Georgia is sputtering on offense and most of the SEC games, and they're elite on defense. It's going to be a heck of a game. But no, LSU's going to win the SEC championship, and they want to hopefully get that #1 seed in the playoff.
Well, we'll be in Atlanta to see it. This was one of the more special senior days. It'll go down in history in Tiger Stadium. For JaCoby Hester and Gordy Rush, I'm Ronnie Rance. Let's go back to the studio.